flight example that I gave you. After booking a flight to a particular location, by the way, there's a great hotel that you can stay at. And so I think the future where EV is part of the way that people interact with the internet, I think marketing is going to be very much about communicating clearly to the platform the products and services that you have, and potentially partnering with us, with True Knowledge or the company behind these technologies in order to expose those products and services in a way that's meaningful to the user and meaningful to the platform. So it's no longer about keywords, it's about communicating what the proposition is, what the product and service is, what the advantage to the user is, and then enabling the intelligent platform to include that conversationally, include that in the interaction with the user.
So we've got about 5 minutes left. I'm going to open it up for questions. If there anybody who wants to ask a question, raise your hand. I'll ask one more. It strikes me, you mentioned rational thinking, and I've seen the Siri stuff. Why are all these engines named after women?
So that's a very good question. So I think it's very natural to brand a product like this as a person. You're talking with he or she. It's understanding you. It's interacting with you like it's a person. So every person needs a gender. And in fact, we had a debate about whether EV should be, or this particular product should be male or female. Opinion was divided, but there was some belief that a female persona is softer, more easy to interact with, and the choice of gender actually derived the brand as well. Evie is a female name, so having made the choice, quite a few other things followed.
There's no comment I can make here that wouldn't get me in trouble at home, so I'm going to quickly move on. Do we have any questions from the audience? How do you, so John still got the mic, so I'm going to assume no for a second. I'll ask one more, and then we'll wrap. How do you understand tone? In search, we there's this expression of intent, how people type the keywords in, the phrasing they use. How do you, go beyond the words someone asks and hear, or how will you hear the tone or the kind of experience someone's giving you in what they say?
Yeah, so at the moment, there's two really big technologies, two really difficult technologies that are needed to create this experience. In fact, there's multiple really difficult technologies. So one of them is about faithfully turning the speech, the sound that the product hears into text. And the other, which is very much where we specialize, is understanding that text. So the intent at the moment is driven from what is actually said. The actual tone of voice or the inflection in the speech is second order. And both of these technologies that I've just mentioned are quite imperfect. So I think things like inflection may become important after the first two are fully solved. But at the moment, there's enough imperfection and progress to be made in the transcription of the sound and the understanding of the natural language for most of the effort to be focused on that at the moment. But for me, intent is about what the natural language means, what's in the user's head, representing that in a machine processable way. And the sort of emotions or the inflection is a second order contributor to that. It's a very interesting idea, but it's a second order contributor.
Great. Any last thoughts? I mean, you've got a room full of, again, elite marketers who aren't using, who have played with Siri but aren't, serious adopters. What would you say to this group and what they should do next as consumers but also as brands to think about the coming wave of this technology?
So I think they should be thinking about it, and I think they should be thinking about it hard. But I don't want to create the impression that keywords are going to go away in the very near future. I think even with speech-enabled technologies, what's coming out of speech is words. So the technologies based on keywords are going to be around for some time, and I can't tell you exactly how these sort of deep semantic technologies are going to evolve from a marketing perspective. I can give some early ideas, but we are still some way away from doing that. So I think the best advice is to watch the space very closely, stay in touch with our progress, stay in touch with our competitors' progress, and watch the space closely.
Great. William, thank you from your side. Guys, if you would, William's back there, so if everybody would just kind of turn in your chairs and wave goodbye to William, I'd appreciate it. Great. Thank you again, William, for the time.
My pleasure.
And now it's time to play the feud. I think we just keep right on going because I don't know why we'd want to stop at this point. It's my pleasure to introduce an old friend and colleague who's now